I relax. I recognize that I am here for great purpose, that this moment is for me. It is for me to hear my own wisdom, my own guidance, to gain new understanding, new awareness of the depth and the truth of my goodness. My mind is open. My heart is open. I rest and listen to my own guidance. And as you are ready, you can open your eyes. We've created a sacred space that we will carry with us. Today, I'm talking about being resilient. And in your bulletin, there is a little chart that Nancy was good enough and kind enough to type in for me. And I'm going to be referencing this as I'm talking. So we all know those moments where we have to go deep, where we're not able to be fed from or encouraged by or lifted up by just where we are, by just what we're surrounded with, by just the thoughts that we're currently thinking. And so this I am resilient is about the recognition that it doesn't matter how disconnected I feel from my own guidance. It doesn't matter how disconnected I feel from life or let down by life. There is in me that which bounces back. That not that just bounces back, but that is called ever on to my own evolution. And that I can't go backwards. I can't I can't unknow something. So we're all in this process of evolution. Life is this process of evolution. We're evolving, we're learning, we're growing, we're becoming more, we're becoming more, we're becoming more. We cannot become less than what we've already become, but we can have moments where we can't reach that depth of where we've already gone, of where we've already grown to. And so it is in those moments that we learn to become resilient and to dig deep. This month, we are doing I ams. We are doing affirmations. Affirmations and denials are one of the most amazing tools that I have learned from the Unity teachings. And a denial and an affirmation are this. The recognition is that you are constantly affirming. I am constantly affirming things all of the time. My mind is going all of the time. I am constantly affirming things. The things that I can be affirming might be things that I actually want to continue to affirm and continue to co-create in my life and continue to draw to me. And some of them, perhaps, I do not want to continue to co-create or to bring into my life. And so we become mindful. I love Linda's poem. Linda's poem, did you feel what that poem did? I closed my eyes and I was listening and I went there, right? That mindfulness, that moment. The feel of water on my skin, the feel of the animal's nose in my hand, the smell of the animal's breath. Those are the gateways into this eternal moment, right? We can take a moment to let go of our crowded thinking, to be right here, right now, to be present right here, right now. And in so doing, we slow down those affirmations, those thoughts, those things that are constantly going on in our head, and we can isolate them and go, oh, I'm affirming this. Is that what I want to affirm? So, in other words, life is hard. You can't trust anybody. People let you down. Can you feel that? Those are affirmations. Those are affirmations that I had for a really long time. And those affirmations, my mind, I would affirm that without recognizing that that's what the dialogue that was going on in my head. And guess what would happen? A situation would come into my life that would what? Prove me right. It would prove that you can't trust people. Life is hard. People let you down. I was proving it because that's what will happen. I draw to me that which I believe I create. So we become intentional about our denials and affirmations. So One of the ways that we do this is we begin to see what we are affirming. So life is hard. Let's take life is hard. I see that I'm thinking life is hard. I have to become mindful, to become aware of when that thought is happening and the accompanying emotions happen behind it. I become aware of it. Life is hard, and I go, oh, I give no energy or power to that thought. Life is friendly and it's for me. That is an example of a denial. So I take it, deny the power of it, not deny that it's my experience. I may be experiencing that very thing. It's not about denying that what you're experiencing. It's denying that it has any power over me. I have to direct this to you, Diane. Okay, have to. It's for you, Diane, it's for you. Normally I don't do this, but it is. Okay, so the current situation, neighbor, right? That's happening. You can't deny that it's happening, right? But what you can deny is that it has any power to keep your good from you. He has no power to keep my good from me. Yes, this has no power to keep my good from me. And then that's a denial. And then you affirm, life is friendly and it's for me. He has no power to keep my good from me. Life is friendly and it's for me. Okay, sorry. What was I talking about? Sorry, that was right. So we become intentional about using these tools. Now here is another one of the tools, and this is what I love. Okay, and it ties into our denial and affirmations. So one of Charles Fillmore, who founded Unity a long time ago, one of his teachings is the 12 powers. And what he did is it's essentially the metaphysical interpretation of each one of the disciples, right? So the disciples represented faculties that Jesus the man needed to call upon in order to realize his Christ potential. So in order to become enlightened, there are these faculties that we must call on. Okay, it's good. It gets good. I'm going to try to explain it well. All right, so faith. Okay, so Peter represents faith, right? And Jesus said, upon this rock I build my church, right? Faith. Upon the rock of faith I build my church. Now, the 12 powers of man are that we have these powers innate in us. I'm going to read them real quickly. Faith, strength, wisdom, love, dominion, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, elimination, life. Okay, these are powers that we all have. And that during our journey, during our human journey, it is ours to tap into these, to quicken them, to grow them, to realize them, so that we become our self-actualized, our Christ-realized self. Can you feel that? Okay, so here is what I've been doing. I have taken into meditation, each day in my meditation, I have taken one of the powers into my meditation, the thought of it. So, like today, this morning, I meditated this morning, and today, my work for today, what life was asking me to do today is to talk to all of you, right? So I have this talk. So what I want, the power that I want to go dig deep and find is my wisdom. So in my meditation time, before I begin, I say, I am wisdom. I am wisdom. I am wisdom. I say it 3 times. I'm doing this because where our attention goes, our energy flows, right? It's an instruction. It is this quality, this wisdom that I am one with, that I am a part of. It is my intention to tap into this. It is my intention to quicken it, to hasten it into being, and it is my intention to realize it. So I say that 3 times in my meditation, and then I have my meditation time. What I have seen in doing this, I've been doing it for the last 3 weeks. I've focused on one of the powers before my meditation. It takes one treatment of that for me to feel it on the other side. Does that make sense? So this isn't dogma, this isn't doctrine, it's another tool. And that is what denials and affirmations are. That's what all of the things that we talk about here are. It's just about tools. The tool isn't the point. The point is to use the tool to get in touch with who you are. Okay, so I'm going to read faith, royal blue. It's the pineal gland, ability to believe with confidence and conviction. So in a moment, in a situation where you know that what you need is the ability to believe with confidence and conviction, it is ours to look to and understand that faith is a blueprint that is latent within us. It is already in us. And it is mine to bring that which is already in me, that faith, to the surface and to tap into it and to strengthen it in whatever way that I can. Can you feel that? Okay, so now I'm going to talk about my shingles. Okay, probably all of you know. Okay, so last year, I got shingles on my face. And what is amazing about shingles is it's such a beautiful metaphor, because shingles is not something that I catch. It's not something that can be passed from person to person. What happened is I had chicken pox when I was little, right? And so the virus was laying dormant in my body. And then all of a sudden, it woke up and gave me shingles. I love this metaphor. Don't you love this metaphor? Because Louise Hay, who is a teacher that we talk about all the time, who explains that because of the interconnectedness of our mind and our body, physical manifestations of illness are invitations pointing us towards something that is happening for us internally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, and so on. Does that make sense? Okay, so what that means is something came to the surface. My shingles came to the surface, literally came to the surface. What was happening is there was a belief, something was coming to the surface that was already in me that I needed to become aware of, and shingles was my pointer toward it. Does that make sense? Well, here's the thing. Shingles, it was the location of the shingles, and we've talked about this before, I know, but I have had new awareness about this in the last week. The location of my shingles was right here. It was right between my eyes, right in the middle of my forehead. And what is that? It's your third eye chakra. That's exactly right. Third eye chakra, your spiritual sight, right? It happens through your third eye chakra. We are physical beings, but we are energetic beings. And we have energetic centers in our body. And over the energetic center in our body, the third eye chakra, that's where my shingles were. So then I went to Louise Hay and I looked up shingles, and guess what shingles said? It was about fear. It was waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? And what happens right here in the 12 powers, this area is represented by imagination, the ability to imagine, envision, dream, and conceptualize. I was using my power of imagination for evil. No, there's no such thing. But I was using the power of imagination to say the other shoe's going to drop. This thing, this temporary, because what was happening also was a stressful life circumstance was happening at the same time. And rather than me looking at the temporariness of this situation, my mind was going, this thing that's happening right now is going to happen unto forever. This thing that I'm experiencing right now will happen forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever, amen. Do you feel that happening? So my imagination was being used to create that which I didn't want to create. And my body, I believe that my body said, hold on, don't create a bad future. We'll just give you shingles now. I mean, that's what I think it did. It's like, do you want to create a horrible future, or should I just give you shingles now so that you're alerted to what's going on before you start creating this thing now into forever, right? And so that's what was happening. So here's what I love about the 12 powers. So when you look at, this is just another tool. You can look at the location in the body of these 12 powers, right? So between the eyes for imagination. You can be alerted to things. So if I begin to feel a physical symptom in one of these parts, this is another tool that I can go to and say, wait a minute. It's my heart. You know, I'm feeling tightness in my chest. This is about love. The other path, so I've been working on the power of love too. So this is how that has manifested. So I'm talking a lot about physical things that I don't really want to talk about. It's interesting. Okay, I'm going to keep going. So I've also mentioned that I find it very unfair that I have gray hair and also times of breaking out on my face. So I do break out on my face, and what I have come to understand about those issues is that it's about self-love. It's about self-condemnation. It's about my judgment of myself. It's about me not loving me exactly as I am. And so now, one of the powers that I have really been working on is the power of love. And and in particular, how to turn that love inward, right? And Charles Fillmore says, and I think this is really, really important to understand, that these are not meant to stand alone. These powers aren't meant to stand alone. It's meant to represent a totality. It is when all of these powers that are on here are working in tandem and in cooperation with one another that we are able to realize the truth of who we are. Realize our oneness with God, which is what Christ did. Can you feel that? Okay, I want to read to you a quote in here. And my bookmark fell out. So I'm not doing that? Okay, good. All right. So I'm not reading you a quote because I don't have it. So, does anybody have anything that they are inspired to say about any of the powers or what we've just been talking about? I'm going with that because I didn't have a bookmark, and so I was thinking that there might be something else. Anybody? Emily.
Well, this morning my EFT, I'll call it a meditation, had to do with vigor and vitality.
Vigor and vitality.
Vigor and vitality. And something in Linda's poem really tapped into something that brought sadness to me. And looking at further down here, I happen to wear orange.
Yes.
Which has
Zeal.
all to do with zeal.
Yes.
And enthusiasm.
Yes.
And passion.
Yes.
To start and to motivate.
Yes. Yes.
And so the alignment, the poem,
Yes.
the color, the
Yes.
recognition, the EFT thing
Yes.
about vigor and vitality.
Yes.
It's just a wonderful flow that
Yes.
leads to resilience.
Yes. Yes.
And knowing that it all works together. It's so
Yes.
seamless.
That's right. And that's how we dig deep. And that's why I like this, because it gives you locations on the body, it gives you colors, it gives you the actual power. And what, and we talk about this all the time, the universe, God, spirit, is our soul, our higher self, whatever you call it, is always talking to us, is always communicating with us, is always pointing us in directions. And I love this because there's all of these different ways. I love that you're wearing orange. I love that it's about zeal. And I too have tapped in. Zeal is what I try to tap into often with my kid. I'll find that like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I have this just moment of just lethargy where it's like, I don't know, can I do this? Can I get us to bedtime? Can I get us through to that? And that's when I try to tap into zeal. But I love it. I know we did faith, ability to believe with confidence and conviction, strength, the ability to endure, to stay the course, to persevere, wisdom, ability to evaluate, discern, appraise, and apply what you know, ability to harmonize, this is love, ability to harmonize, unify, attract, dominion, ability to master, dominate, control. I love this one. But here's why I love it. I love it because I have dominion over my mind. What I always recognize is that my mind and my anxious mind and my chatter can go like this. And it can feel like it is literally running me over, like it is happening to me, and I'm just trying to keep up with it, right? And the reality is that I am not my mind. I have a mind. I have dominion over my mind. I get to direct my mind. I get to say, nope, not right now. I get to say, we're going to take a breath now. And that is part of what my meditation is for me, especially in the challenging times in my life. The most challenging moments are the moments where it's hardest for me to go meditate, because there is so much resistance to it. And one of the things that I've come to understand is that the things that are most valuable and most vital to my soul and to my soul's evolution, those are the things that I will have the most resistance about. And so I've learned to recognize the resistance. And so I will, I have to like drag myself to go meditate when I'm going through a hard time. But what I recognize and the way that I'm able to do it is to go, no, this is about dominion. This is about me saying no situation or circumstance, no feelings and thoughts about the situation or circumstance. You aren't running the show. I am running the show. We're going to meditate. Get in line. We're going. And that is what it is, you know. It is about that understanding that it's mine to do. It's my job to take care of Lydia. I'm the one. I got to do it. I'm the one that's got to do it. So that's why I love Dominion. Okay. And all right, so what's the next one? Imagination, ability to imagine, envision, dream, conceptualize. And here's what I'll tell you, that historically I've always thought that I did not have an imagination. In fact, I would tell you that I'm imagination challenged, and what I've come to understand is I am absolutely not. My anxiety is my imagination, and all the things that my anxiety tells me are going to happen. It's amazing, the imagination that goes on for me. Understanding. Ability to know and perceive, will, ability to choose, decide, and lead. So it's kind of like those in tandem with the going to meditation. It's the dominion piece and the will piece. It's, you know, I have that. I get to choose. Order is the ability to organize, balance, sequence. So those are the times of overwhelm, right? Like we've been going through a change in the office here, right? Lots of restructuring and like technology, and we moved over to this kind of technology, and there's new people sitting in the seat, and we don't know who's doing what. And those are the moments where it feels like that moment of overwhelm, like I'm not going to be able to do this. How are we going to keep up with this? It is that moment to tap into order. The recognition that in me is absolutely the ability to organize, sequence, and structure those things. It's in there. And it's for me to tap into it. It's for me to intentionally tap into it. Zeal, ability to be enthusiastic, passionate, to start or to motivate. Zeal is one of my favorites. But the time where zeal becomes challenging are those moments of lethargy, and are those moments of overgiving, when I tend to be not taking care of myself, right, or not doing something for myself. I can experience those, and then I need to tap into my zeal. Again, already in me, just tapping into it, become intentional about tapping into it and bringing it to the surface. Elimination, this is good. Ability to release, remove, deny, let go. That is that denial piece. This has no power to keep my good from me. And that is, and I just think it's so important to understand that this is not about denying something that is happening. There is a healthy form of denial, and there is an unhealthy form of denial. And the unhealthy form of denial looks like this. La 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 la. And I've told Keith, my husband, who's wonderful and out with the kids right now, so I'll tell you. This is what we have. I have this thing where, so if something is going on that is unpleasant, Keith has a thing that says, if we don't look at it, if we don't talk about it, then it will go away. And I have this thing that says, if there's something negative going on, then we need to look at it, talk about it, read about it, think about it, decide what's going to happen, project what's going to happen, and nip that stuff in the bud. Like, that's my thing. So here's the deal. We're like here, and we need to be here, right? Because the reality is that not both of those are a form of denial. What we want to do, what we want to practice in our elimination, which is already in us, is the ability to say, this has no power to keep my good for me. This has no power to keep what is mine. This has no power to keep me from the realization that I am one with God. This has no power to keep me from the realization of my successful life. This has no power to do that, right? Can you feel that? So we're not denying the thing is happening. We're denying it has power. Okay, so that's elimination. And the last one is life. Ability to energize, vitalize, enliven, be whole and healthy. Life is that power that I tap into when there is a physical manifestation of an illness. The recognition that in me, I am already whole and healthy, and what I am doing is tapping into that part of me that is already whole and healthy. So that's fun. We're going to keep talking about the 12 powers. We're going to keep talking about affirmations and denials and these tools, because they're amazing tools that can point us to our own knowing. So I invite you to, with me, become quiet.